All right, here's our second video on rectangular prisms. I showed you how to do full rectangular prisms, and we have them all shaded in. And then we're already started on this one. I want to show you how you get started. You basically just do what you just done. I asked you to draw 5 full rectangular prisms, and now we're going to draw 5 partials, but we're going to start with full ones. So I went ahead and drew 5 full ones here, just kind of quickly sketched them out without shading them in. And now I'm going to show you how you can turn the full ones into partial ones. And it's best to do it this way. Best to try to figure out how I'm going to subtract some of this. So we have to imagine these as if they're pieces of cheese or chunks of wood or something that you're slicing off parts of. And I'll show you several different ways to do that. Now, of course, if we just cut, let's say we cut this in half this way and cut it in half this way, and I'll do this line parallel. If we were to cut it in half this way, this is really not going to make a different type of shape. It's still going to be a rectangular prism. So it'll be 2 rectangular prisms, like 2 boxes pushed up against each other. So what we want to do is we want to cut them in a way that makes a new shape that's not just looking like a regular rectangular prism. One way to do it is cut it in half diagonally. And this is real simple. Let's say this is like a piece of cheese, and I want to cut it in half diagonally going across here, corner to corner. So I do that, and then I cut it, and then I'm going to go from this corner to this corner as if I'm going to remove this whole section right here. So I went from this corner to this corner to this corner, and what happens is you get a new exposed shape here. This is the exposed shape when this other part's being removed. I'm going to remove this part. I'm just going to pause for a second so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Not fully erase it, but you get the idea. That this has been removed, this part here. It's a ghostly image right now. And the new exposed shape is a new parallelogram. So when I cut it in half this way, I get another parallelogram. Let's erase it completely and shade it in. And again, I'm only seeing 3 sides. Each side is facing a different direction. Usually the side that's facing up might be the lightest. No, I don't see 3 sides. I only see 2 sides in this case. Sometimes I see 3 sides depending on how I cut it. And this one's easy. I just shade it in because I'll just shade in this one, let's say fairly dark, and I'll shade the other one fairly light. Easy. 2 different shades. Sometimes I can just pull graphite right off of there on my finger and just mop it right on there. Okay. We'll clean these up later. I want to show you some other partials here. Another way to make a partial is to not cut it all the way down to the corner, maybe just cut it like halfway. So maybe I'll start here in this corner and I'll cut it to here. So I'll draw a straight line. And then, so I need to know that this distance here, how far up from the edge I'm going to cut it. It's going to be the same as this distance here. So I'm going to make this distance and this distance about the same. This is going to stay, this part's going to leave, and I'm going to draw a line here to show how that part's going to be cut away. And again, my new exposed section is going to be a parallelogram. So I'll cut here, I'll remove this part, and it kind of looks like, I don't know, a beveled box of some sort. Maybe an ice machine, I don't know, cash register, something like that, kind of those shapes. Let's do something a little bit different. I'm going to cut some of this. I'm doing the same thing on this one. Yeah, let's cut it at a beveled angle, a severe beveled angle like this. This I'm going to make parallel to the bottom here. I'm not going to cut all the way down to the bottom this way. So once I cut here, I remember my new exposed shape is going to be a parallelogram, and I have 2 lines for my parallelogram. In order to finish, I need a line like over here parallel to this one, and a line over here parallel to that one. I'm going to remove what I've cut away. It's so important to have a good eraser. Okay, and I get kind of a new beveled cut that way. Let's do a simple one. Let's just remove the corner. If I was just to remove the corner of this, I could simply just draw a triangle with the points of the triangle landing on these 3 lines. Move that. I just had a big wedge of cheese. I had a knife. I cut a piece of it away. Okay. Last one, let's make it a little more complex. Let's turn this big block into a step. So I'm going to do a cut straight down here. It's parallel to my sides and horizontal, straight up and down. I'm sorry, vertical, straight up and down. Vertical to these. And then this cut here has to be parallel to these because that's the direction that this is going. And this cut here has to be parallel to this because that's the direction it's going. So it's really important I keep in mind that these lines are going to be parallel and this line is going to be parallel. Same as this one. So a lot of these lines are going to be parallel to each other. So this line here, coming off of here, is going to be parallel. And I'm going to remove this little block here. You can kind of see another rectangular prism here I'm going to remove. That's the part I'm cutting away. Once I cut that away, I'm going to have two new exposed surfaces. One that faces up and one that faces kind of towards me. So I need to finish this, okay? This is two lines of a parallelogram. To finish it, opposite side has to be parallel. This is vertical, this has to be vertical. This angles this direction, this one has to angle that direction. Same thing here. Oh, I got three lines already done for this parallelogram. Just to finish it off, I have to have a line going in this direction over here. And it makes a nice little step. And again, you got to think about, I have surfaces facing three different directions. Let's say the light's coming from this direction. I would shade these the lightest, maybe make these the darkest, and maybe make my side an in-between. So on this page, you are required to draw 5 full rectangular prisms or box shapes, draw 5 partial rectangular prisms or box shapes, and you need to shade all 10 of these. You would get bored watching me shade all 10 of these right now. So I'm going to stop the video and you go ahead and practice. Once again, if you have any questions, please call me over to help. Ask somebody at your table how to do it. And have fun. Don't be afraid to experiment and try making partials I did not show you. Maybe try cutting it in a different way. I encourage that. Brush your crumbs away. Neatness counts. Good luck.